The deepest danger in political theology is not only that people quote scripture, it is that they begin treating divine language as a property deed, a war permission slip, or a shield against moral scrutiny. Zionism is not one single thing. It has religious forms, secular forms, nationalist forms, and geopolitical forms. But one of the clearest spiritual questions inside the subject is this: what happens when a theological story gets turned into a modern political claim over land, history, and legitimacy? The problem is not that sacred texts matter to people. The problem begins when a sacred narrative is treated as if it automatically authorizes domination in the present. When theology is fused with state power, critique becomes harder. Violence can be narrated as destiny. Displacement can be narrated as fulfillment. Human beings on the receiving end of power can be made to appear like obstacles to prophecy instead of neighbors with equal dignity. This is where discernment matters. A spiritual tradition can offer memory, meaning, and moral depth. But once it is used to justify exceptional political entitlement, the line between devotion and ideology starts to blur. That is why this topic cannot be reduced to slogans. It requires asking whether sacred language is being used to deepen conscience or to suspend it. Imagine a political leader or movement arguing that a disputed territory is non-negotiably theirs because God promised it. In that framework, those already living there are no longer encountered first as human communities with history, grief, and rights. They are reframed as temporary obstacles to a higher claim. That shift is spiritually serious. It turns theology from a source of moral accountability into a tool of political insulation. A more ethical response would begin differently. It would say that if a belief is truly sacred, it should make its followers more accountable to justice, truthfulness, restraint, and the equal worth of every person affected by power. That approach does not require abandoning faith. It requires refusing to let faith become an alibi for domination. Political psychology and social identity research show that people become more willing to excuse harm when a group frames its goals as sacred, existential, or divinely protected. Once a cause is sacralized, compromise can feel like betrayal, and empathy can feel like weakness. Science does not decide theology, but it does help explain why sacred political fusion can become so combustible. This matters far beyond one region. Whenever people fuse divine purpose with state violence, ethnic superiority, or permanent entitlement, theology is being used in a dangerous way. The pattern can appear in many religions and nations. Zionism simply offers one especially visible case. Ask yourself, when I hear sacred language used in politics, do I become more committed to human dignity, or more willing to excuse what I would otherwise call wrong? The question is not whether people may bring faith into public life. The question is whether theology is serving conscience or being recruited to protect power. When sacred story becomes political insulation, spirituality has already been compromised.